In my last video, I showed you how I lowered the rear end of the car by putting spacer blocks between the springs and the axles. It was a lot of fun, trust me. Anyhow, today I've got to deal with pinion angle and figure out if I can use my drive shaft or not. Wish me luck. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this is what I'm working on. It's a 1940 Ford two-door sedan going on a 1937 Ford frame, which is the same as the 40. It's got a 350 small block Chevy with a 4L60E transmission and a Mopar 8¼ inch rear end. Okay, so pinion angle is basically the angle this sits at here and the angle that sits at there. So this face here is basically facing upwards slightly. This slopes downwards slightly. So the idea is this one slopes downwards, the other one slopes upwards. They have to slope an equal amount of degrees. So for example, if this slopes down 3 degrees, that will have to basically point up 3 degrees. 3 degrees being basically the maximum or the target, but they have to be equal. So the way I measure it is along these faces here. If I get a digital level, put it on here, I will get a reading, and I will have to subtract 90 from that. So it'll be like an 87 degrees, say. Take off 90, that gives me my 3 degrees pointing downwards. And the same thing across this face here. I have to make sure it's right up and down, and then I will have I'll have a 3 degrees pointing upwards. Once I get those two levels right to get to my 3 degrees, then I can measure from the center of the U-joint here to the center of the U-joint at the back to know exactly how long of a drive shaft I will need. This is actually really close, and I'm hoping I'll be able to just bolt this right back in, or right in. Like I say, I have this sitting in the back where it will go. And if we look down this hole, I'm right at the center of the U-joint here with about an inch and a half sticking out, which isn't bad. Now again, I haven't checked my angles yet, so I may have to move this up or down, move that up or down before I finally check to see if this drive shaft will work. So movement on this, if I have to move this up or down, is I can put shims underneath here between the mount and the cross member. So I could do that. That will bring this up. If I need to bring this down, I will put spacers between the cross member and this bracket on the side. So that's how I can move the front. The back, however, will be slightly more difficult. I do have this strapped down to basically where this will be sitting with the weight of the body on it. So when I had the body on it, I measured, and basically the body will basically bring it down an inch and a half. So I have these straps right now holding the axle where the axle will be when the weight of the body is on, and that's important to get the right angle as well. So if I have to move this up or down, the only way I can do that is by adding or subtracting space here, or so if I can add at the front or add at the back. So if I add at the front, that will push the perch up, which will point the pinion up. If I put a spacer in the back between the spring and the spacer, that will point this down. So for now, what I'm going to do is take my measurements, play around with spacers underneath here. Doesn't matter what they are, washers, probably whatever I have, just so I know how much I need to add or take off to get my right angle here. All right, so I've got my level here, digital, and let's see what we get here. Yeah, I can't read that. 83. So 83 minus 90 is 7. So that means I've got a 7 degree drop on the front. All right, let's see what the back has. So let's get this even. One way. What does that look like? 83.35. So that's just slightly under 7. All right, so this has to go down, the front has to go up. Well, because my angle was so far out here, I didn't leave enough room for adjustment in my cross member there, so I had to cut out my old brackets and then weld in these new ones. It's what, 1/8 inch steel, 1/4 inch steel, something like that. So that's good heavy metal, so I should be fine there. I may put some gussets under here afterwards just to give it a bit of extra strength. Anyhow, I got my good angle right there now. At the back, what I did is I put these little shim things in there. And by doing that, I should be at the angle I want here. So I checked it up in the air and it seemed to pull out the angle I wanted it to. Let me see. 86.70, 86.75, which is what, 3 and a little bit. 86. Okay, so here I'm at 86, 86, 40, 50, 55. So I'm within a 1/10. So I'm within a 1/10 of a degree. So by my calculations, if I take the height of that shim that I made and cut that amount off, whatever, let's say that's 1/4 inch for the sake of argument, and if I take that off of this end here, top or bottom, that should get me the angle that I want. All right, let's do that. So this is how I'm doing it. Basically, I have this axle jack stand thing. So I have this under my axle. I've loosened off the bolts. I'll jack up the axle. Until this comes out. I may have to loosen off those bolts a bit more. Yeah, gotta loosen these bolts. Anyways, that's how I do it. Pull that out, measure my shim, trim that up, put it back, do the same on the other side. I should be done. Well, here's hoping. And there it is, out. Alright, so on the workbench, this is the amount of material I have to remove basically from this end, top or bottom. So I would basically cut from there and then just up to there. So this height's fine. I just got to take it from there, taper it down. Or I could do the same on the bottom. Bring it here, taper it down. Either way will give me the same effect. Now I'm thinking do the bottom because I won't have to deal with the pin that's in the top. That's going to make things more difficult with that being there. So I'm going to take it from here, off there. I'll make some notes, draw some pictures saying front so I don't screw up when I put it back. But again, that's the thickness I got to take off. So let's do that. Okay, time to start cutting. Well, I've got the blocks ground down to where I wanted them. I ended up taking both of them off, putting them in the vise so I would make sure that they're both exactly the same. So the amount I cut off is equal on both sides so I don't get any weird stuff happening. So they're in, they're bolted up. Next thing I got to double check is to make sure that my rear axle is straight across, because I've been playing around with it. That may have gotten kind of out of whack, so I'll be doing that to make sure that everything's on where it should be. So once that's done, basically the next step is gas tank. So I've got to get my in-tank fuel pump in and set up, and then run lines for the fuel. So there will be a feed line and a return line, and then brake lines front to back, and then paint frame, clean and paint the frame, and then put the body back on. Got my firewall done in polyurethane. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.